Don't increase your prices just because a guru said that you should charge your worth. What does that mean anyway? Think about it. Let's charge my worth. What am I worth? How are you going to figure that out? If you came from an abusive environment, a childhood, a neglectful environment, you're not going to know your worth. And anyway, that is not going to tell you how much your worth is. One of the best ways to figure out how much you should be charging is to look at other industries that do something similar. So a massage therapist, an interior decorator, a lawyer, that kind of thing. So a massage therapist, for example, charges about $100, no more. I don't think anybody actually charges $100 anymore. I think it's like $120 plus per hour. So why shouldn't hairdressers do the same or charge the same? It's very basic necessity. Everybody needs a massage, everybody needs a haircut, and most people need a hair color. It is a luxury. Massages are a luxury, but sometimes they're a necessity. Hair is the same way. It's a luxury, but it's also a necessity. So I do get the sentiment behind charging your worth, but it is not a good measure or a good scale. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, if that makes sense to you, let me know in the comments, but telling people to just charge their worth sounds like a lot of BS, where we have to kind of delude ourselves into thinking that we're better than we actually are. I totally get that if you do increase your prices and you have less clientele, but you make more per hour, then you could either make the same or you could increase your revenue by thousands of dollars by the end of the year. However, you can also lose a lot of business. And this is one of the things that nobody talks about. If you're just going to randomly start raising your prices with no basis whatsoever, then you are going to get yourself in some deep doo-doo. So today we're going to talk about 3 times when you should be increasing your prices. Number 1, your cost of living and or operational expenses have increased. Inflation is real. Everybody is paying an insane amount for our rent, for our insurance, for our groceries, just to stay alive, just to keep the lights on. We are having to work so much more, put in so much hours. We're on a rat race, we're on a treadmill, and it's really, really tough for a lot of people, for a lot of us. And so if your rent has gone up, if both your salon rent, if you're a salon owner or a suite renter or a booth renter, and your rent has gone up and your supplies have gone up, your insurance has gone up, your car payments have gone up for whatever reason. Maybe your car insurance went up. Mine did. If you're using a software to edit videos, maybe you're also a content creator, and everything has increased in price and you're still paying off some debt from before, your student loans, whatever it is, this is when you should be raising your prices. It's important that you know how much to raise it. I would sit down with my accountant and figure out what I need to do to increase my price so I can cover just my costs and my basic living expenses. Just because we're raising our prices doesn't mean we're going to pocket everything. There's also taxes. If you're an independent sole proprietor, taxes are so incredibly high. If you're living in one of the states where your taxes are low, I envy you. If you live in major cities like New York or Toronto or San Francisco, rents can be very, very, very high. Actually, San Francisco is not as high as New York right now, but Toronto is obscene. The rental market is out of this world, and it's really truly not fair, but we do have to raise our prices just to stay in business. This is it. Like, you just to stay in business, you have to raise your price, maybe raise it, I don't know, maybe 50%. Like, it really depends on your situation. Definitely sit down with your accountant and figure out the numbers. Number 2, you are in very high demand. You are getting great reviews. Everybody loves you. Your clients are coming back, so you have a really good retention rate, and you're exhausted. If you're at the point of exhaustion, you're working so hard to keep everybody happy, that means you're charging too low. If I say, for example, if there's a massage therapist that I go see who's only charging $50 a massage for an hour massage, a lot of people are going to take advantage of that because they're like, oh my God, it's such a good deal. And guess what? Her books are going to be full, but she's going to be exhausted. If she's a sole proprietor and she's the only person who's doing this service, she is going to be so burnt out so quickly. So think of it as a different service provider. If you're a hairstylist and you are working like crazy. You probably don't have time to eat between clients. You don't have time to see your kids if you have kids, or your family. You don't have time to take a vacation. You don't have time to just like chill out on the weekends. You're not taking any weekends off. You're exhausted because you're trying to fit everybody in, and everybody wants a piece of you because they know that you're the cheapest one in the area and that they can't get such a good deal. And they're probably also thinking, oh, she might or they might raise their prices, so let me get them when they're still cheap. That's how you know that it's time to raise your prices. That is how you filter out. That's how you decompress. Because at that point, once you raise your prices, you're going to have your loyal clientele who are going to be like, yeah, no problem, I'll still pay. You're going to have people who might complain. Then you know that they never cared about you. And those are like the biggest cringe clients. Like, you don't want those people. If they complain, goodbye, they can go somewhere else. You'll also have people who are going to still come see you, they just can't afford it. So they are going to not come in as often. They're going to come in a little bit more spaced out. So instead of seeing you, say, every 3 months, they might come every 6 months, and they're going to ask you how they can maintain their hair at home. So just expect that to happen. There will be a drop if you are not busy. If you're raising your prices and you're not that busy, you will see a huge dip. I'm going to do another video on that because that happened to me and I didn't expect it to happen because nobody told me that it was going to happen. So I want to warn you, and I want you to be armed before you do raise your prices, to expect that there will be a dip, and a lot of clients are just not going to come in. You're going to see crickets. You're going to see an empty schedule. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you don't, that means you're just amazing at what you do and you have a great reputation. You've probably been doing this for a while and everybody's talking about you and saying good things about you behind your back. That's how you know that you're doing a really good job. But with inflation, people losing their jobs, recession, all of that, you just don't know what people are going through. So when you do raise your prices just to keep yourself alive and keep your business alive and people are not coming in as often, you have to plan for that. You have to have savings, but just expect it to happen. If you're very busy, then you're in a very, very good position to raise your prices. If you work for a salon and your boss is telling you that you just need to give more head massages or sell more retail to make more money, that's not fair, because they need to, if you're that busy and you're that good, they need to graduate you. Because I don't know how salons work, but most salons have some type of like a tier where you do like a junior, and then you're intermediate, and then you're a senior stylist, and then I think you're like a master stylist. If your boss is saying that you just need to sell more, that is a race to the bottom. That is not going to get you what you need. You need less clientele. You need more free time. It's on them, and it's their job to graduate you to your next level and then bring in another junior stylist to take over your spot. So they're constantly having to look after the salon in that way so that the system continues to kind of move in a nice, like a well-oiled machine, and you've got junior stylists, intermediate stylists, and master stylists, so they can graduate you to your next level. That's how you know that your boss really cares about you and they want to keep you happy. If you're an independent stylist, you want to send a thank you email to all of your clientele. Make sure you keep everybody's emails. You guys, I cannot emphasize how important it is that you have an email list. Just gather up everybody's emails from their appointments and send them an email. But if you do text and you're old school, send them out a text, send them a thank you, and tell them that it is time for you to raise your prices. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to apologize. You just affirm it. You say, this is what's happening. Thank them for their business. And here's the booking link. And I can't wait to see you again. That's it. Don't go too deep into it. Otherwise, it's going to seem like you're a little wishy-washy, that you're not sure about what you're doing. It also confuses the person who's reading the email or the text, because it makes it seem like there is just so much information, like they just don't know what you want from them. So be very clear and very direct. Number 3, you want to work less and you want to focus on something else. You don't want to be behind the chair anymore. You want to focus on something else. You want to build your skills. Maybe you want to become a graphic designer. Maybe you want to become a travel consultant. Maybe you want to have a baby. Like, you want to do something else with your life and you don't want to do hair full time. I think think it's really important that you raise your prices so that you have your solid clientele who are paying that price, and you can fill up your days with those clientele, because I always find that people who pay a premium price, they are going to show up to their appointments. They are not going to flake out on you. They're not going to haggle you. They're good clients. So that's what I did when I wanted to build this YouTube channel and the blog. And it was really important for me to be like, okay, I need to not do this full time. I can't open up my entire schedule to be working all the time, 7 days, like 5 days a week. The weekends were the busiest. So I was like, why don't I just work on weekends? I'll choose one day of the weekend, which is Sundays, which is what I'm doing right now. And I love working Sundays. It just so happened that I was able to find a chair to rent on Sundays where I used to live, and I have a very solid clientele, and I'm always booked solid on every Sunday. So you can double your prices, going say from like $90 a haircut to $180. That's quite a dramatic increase. You will be taking less clients and have more time for yourself. I increased my prices from $75 a haircut. So I was going by length. I was doing like, I think I did like 50 and then like 70 and then 85 and then 100 for longer hair. And then I decided that all my haircuts were going to be 120 because I was getting into doing the shags and razor cuts and nobody else was doing it where I was living. So I was like, I'm going to specialize in this and I'm going to keep it as my unique selling proposition. And then I did $120 an hour, which just made more sense. So now people have to pay $240 for a 2-hour haircut. At first, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, I just felt like I wasn't ready for it. But eventually people came around. So there was a bit of a dip where people just didn't come in because they probably just didn't understand the value of what I was doing, which is where marketing comes in. Not sales, but marketing. You want to position yourself in the market as somebody who knows what they're talking about. You're very educational. You're showing like really beautiful images so that when people look at your profile or your Instagram, they're like, I want that. I want that person to do my hair. I charge $150 an hour now. So a full day at a salon could get me a nice $1,000. It's a very comfortable living. I can add more days onto my schedule and make $4,000 a week if I want, right? So if I want to do that, it's a really, really good starting point to just set your price at an hourly rate. I'll do another video on hourly rates because it's so important that we do hourly as hairstylists. The add-on services just drive me crazy, especially because I'm not good with numbers, and like I don't think clients really like all the add-ons, to be honest. So I digress. It's up to you to figure out your numbers and what you need to do and how much you need to raise your prices. But just remember that there are 3 situations when you should be raising your prices. That is, to recap, your living expenses and your business expenses have gone up. You are in very high demand and you are doing great work and you are very busy and you're very tired. I just thought of something. Even if you hire on an assistant and you think that that's going to help you out, you still need to raise your prices because you got to pay that assistant. I think a lot of hairstylists decide, I'm just going to hire a junior and I'll be fine, but you can't keep your prices anymore. You got to raise your prices and then give the junior stylist a lesser price. So say your price is $120 an hour, your junior needs to be like $90 or $80 so that the people who can't afford you can go to your junior and you can mentor that person and then graduate them to like a medium level, bring in another junior and have a whole thing. But you would need a coach for this. I don't coach on that, but that's just kind of like the bigger idea of where you want to go with your goals. It's going to be so much easier for you to maintain your salon reputation and your reputation as a hairstylist. I hope this video helped. All of the links are in the description. You can hire me for a one-on-one consult and you can subscribe to this YouTube channel for more educational content. I'll see you in another video. Bye.